An iconic Detroit hotel falls victim to the pandemic and its restrictions. We'll talk to the owner of the Book Cadillac. Fewer babies? Bad news for the future across the U.S. and here in Michigan. And why did we spring our clocks forward last weekend? Today is Sunday, March 21st, 2021, and this is Flashpoint.
Hi, welcome to Flashpoint. Welcome to spring, and what we all hope is a season of renewal. The progress on the vaccine has been pretty promising of late, and tomorrow, Ford Field goes from NFL Stadium to massive vaccine center. But the progress is tempered by big jumps in cases of COVID, including these worrisome variants, which in turn just makes it more important for the vaccine effort to push forward and accelerate. As we start to poke our heads out from our quarantine quarters, we're starting to take in some of the pandemic fallout. And one really interesting takeaway is what didn't actually happen. A little later this morning, far from a baby boom, we're going to talk about a drop in birth rates, and it is far more consequential than many people realize. But up first, we know how bad the pandemic has been for the hospitality and travel industry. This week, we learned the Book Cadillac Hotel is in foreclosure. We're going to talk with the hotel's owner, John Furchill. And also, are you tired of changing the clocks twice a year? A lot of people are. But should we actually do anything about it? It's all today on Flashpoint. All right, let's start with the news that broke last week on the Book Cadillac Westin Hotel in downtown Detroit. It was in many ways one of the real starting points for the resurgence of downtown. And it has long seemed to me that it was more than a hotel opening or a building rehab. The way that great building came together and came back to life set the bar pretty high for others who wanted to be a part of the Detroit comeback. I'm happy to have with us the man who brought that building back to life, the current owner, John Furchill. John, it is good to have you back on Flashpoint, though I guess not under the circumstances you would prefer, right?
Yeah, once in a lifetime event like the pandemic, nobody could prepare for, and it's just sad is probably the right word to look at what's happening, especially to the hotel, but also to the whole city of Detroit and the state of Michigan.
You're $77 million in debt that haven't been able to make a payment on it since last May. But you said something interesting this week. The mortgage holder, the note holder is City Real Estate Funding, and you suggested that you don't think they're all that interested in working with you because this is a property that maybe they'd like to have.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I said that, but it just, we don't really get any relief from them at all. I mean, we've already put $5 million into to keep the lights on, to do the, just the security, and the minimal amount of people come in. We have, one or two people working there in terms of the reservations and stuff like that. But we still have security, we still have heat, we still have electricity, we still have taxes, we still have all the rest of that going on. So there's really not much we can do. When we were in our heyday, we were running at 40 to $42 million a year of revenue, and now we're doing maybe 3, 4, 5. It's not very much. Let's put it to you that way. So we can't do much about it.
Do you see any hope for you to be able to hang on to it, or have you basically given up on that idea now?
Well, we've had a number of very interested and very well-heeled investors, partners that came in and offered to work with us, and we're working with a few of them now. But the lender is the lender, and I don't think they realize the difficulty of what we have to do. But we're trying to get them to give us some leeway to do some things, and we're not out of it, and we're not away from it yet, but we still have a ways to go. Our game plan right now is to try to do it as honorably as we can and as good as we can to do the right thing. But at the end of the day, there's a very unique situation in Michigan called right of redemption. And if they take it, we got 2 years to take it back. So that right now our game plan is to try to get a deal resolved now so we can go forward and get open and start running again. Depending, by the way, on the state of Michigan, which has been horrendous in terms of, we've never seen it in the 5 states we're in. This is by far the worst state in terms of trying to get business done. In fact, I came in here for a meeting one day, and the only place I could go eat, I took the investor. We went to Coney Island. That was the only thing open in the whole damn downtown.
A lot of Detroiters would actually say that you did pretty well. That's, of course, the classic Detroit lunch. But I'm curious, though, as the entire hospitality space. I mean, you're right. Michigan has shut down. The governor's moves have shut down businesses to a larger degree than a number of our neighbors. But hotels, hospitality, the lack of travel, the lack of really any international travel. I mean, haven't all hotels fared about the same?
Nope. If you were I'm in Florida this week. If you would see what in Arizona, it's like there's no pandemic. The hotels are filled. You know, the restaurants are completely filled. We have not served 1 ounce of food since the day the pandemic hit, and it's just not. It's unbelievable. You just can't get anywhere, and I don't know what the agenda is. And I think I said this already. My employees, these 400 people don't have jobs. Yeah. And, you know, I don't know what they're doing. I know, and we tried for a long time to keep them all on, but just couldn't do anything about it.
Well, I was going to ask you that next. Our approach in the U.S. has been very different than what they did in Europe, where they basically gave money to businesses under the condition that you go ahead and keep your employees on the payroll. In the U.S., we decided we were better off letting businesses lay them off and then backfilling and supporting unemployment programs. Have we done this right?
No, we used a lot of we have some PPP money that we've used, but it really wasn't the right way to do it. Now, the new problem that's going to come up is once this thing gets up and running, there's a lot of people not going to come back to work because they can make more money staying home. And it's going to affect us enormously. And I see a downsizing of the whole that industry, that, you know, the hospitality industry, because you're not going to have trouble finding people that want to go to work.
You mentioned the restaurant and food. That's a big part of that space. And Michael Symon's roast, which I remember as you walked me through the week before the opening. The reason that restaurant is there because Michael Symon hung out with your kids, hung out at your house when he was a youngster back in Cleveland. Should we fear for the survivability of the restaurant if you're not attached to the hotel?
I don't know that. Michael's been a great personal friend. He's actually closer to my son, who owns the restaurant, but I think they're making decisions based on their whole overall food industry. Yeah, I mean, the Book Cadillac will be one of those decisions. I mean, they have closed a number of Michael Symon restaurants already because the same problem. They don't really have any way to be financially viable with the rules that are in place today.
Lastly, John, and I've told you this one-on-one before, I'm wondering if you have been able to develop a full appreciation for just what the Book Cadillac meant at the time. It was one of the first things, of course, with many to follow, but as I mentioned, it set the bar awfully high. I have to believe that the pride that you feel in that project must be a big part of the pain that you're feeling now over what's happening.
Oh, it's devastating, to be honest with you, because this is the trophy property that we have. It's the trophy property in Detroit. I mean, it is the reason everybody went there. When you have people like Roger Penske and Dan Gilbert and those people saying, if you don't come here and get this thing started up, we don't know where this whole would have come about. And now I look at Detroit, and I really truly believe that Detroit's the greatest turnaround, will be the greatest turnaround in the history of American cities when it's all done. I mean, if you'd see the other areas where I've been in the 5 other states and cities and places like that where we're doing business, Detroit's actually in better physical shape than any place else. They have less damage, less harm of protests than any place else we are. I'm proud of the city of Detroit. I just think everybody ought to get back to work. And you know, and these governors don't understand the real world. That just gets down to that, you know, and they make no sense. They don't make any sense at all.
We're going to hope for better things ahead for you here, John. I really am grateful for your time today, and hopefully we'll talk about better things ahead the next time we meet. Thanks so much, and stay safe.
I hope so. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll take a quick break. We come back. What does the declining birth rate mean for all of us, for our world? This is Flashpoint on Local 4.